welcome to episode, what is it, 16 of the Joystix Canada Gamescast. It's what, September 22nd. There was a lot of kind of insane crap going on the last week. I think the biggest thing was all the system pre-orders. Nick helped me out with that, didn't you, Nick?
No idea what you're talking about.
Nick definitely does not work for a company that may or may not have helped me get a certain system or two.
A larger retailer in Canada.
Yeah. Now I need a quick recap from everybody because I have no idea who the hell bought what. Did everybody get a PS5?
No.
No.
I only got an Xbox.
Wow.
Oh,
So
none of
Richard,
you bought-
you and I are the only ones that got PS5s.
Oh, that's so weird. The price just went up on mine. Just like that. It was odd. I don't know how that happened. That's very odd.
So that night, I was planning on ordering one.
Damn it, gin and tonics.
Yeah. Listen to this.
Got it. Sorry.
So that night, I went to go pre-order, and then I was like, "Hey," I messaged Nick. I was like, "Hey, can we pre-order this?" And he's like, "No, they sold out in an hour. Like, good luck." So I was like, "Oh, all right, I'm gonna have to wait."
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I just happened to hop into Discord. I saw the kerfuffle, and I was probably about almost an hour after that initial message that you sent out, Nick. So around 9:15 or so on what would that have been? Thursday night, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Was it it was like right after the PS5 showcase thing. It was like
Right.
hours
So
after, which was a big mistake, I think, on their part. It was like,
Well,
pre-orders are live. There you go, pre-order. I'm like, what the hell? You
they
can't just
came
do
up
that.
And mea culpa, right? They said, "Hey, we botched that one. That was not the way that was supposed to go down," and rightfully so. It was kind of a clusterfuck. So anyway, as soon as I saw it, I'll admit, I wasn't fully sold on the idea of pre-ordering this thing, but immediately, my childhood brain kicks in. It's like, yeah, but what if you don't have it? And then I was like, yeah, that's a good point, brain.
But she's
And
got
then
a new hat.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. It's a stupid Simpsons reference. Anyways, please continue.
Now
Go Stacy. She's got a new hat.
So I put my credit card in, and then I hear a little while later that apparently the system, the super awesome retailer from which I pre-ordered, may have actually had all the pre-orders. But anyway, my pre-order has not been canceled yet, so I'm assuming everything's cool. I did try to get them to add it to my account, and they said that's not possible. So I don't have a status. But I assume it's still going.
Yeah, to their credit, to that retailer's credit that you purchased yours from, I think it was a clusterfuck across the board. It was not just them. It was like every retailer was like, "Whoa, what the hell are we supposed to do? Okay, I guess we'll do this." And it wasn't just in Canada; it was in the U.S. too. Sorry, Nick, what was that?
Yeah, what happened today for Xbox?
For the Xbox?
Between Best Buy, Walmart US.
Microsoft was down. Microsoft.com was down. It was completely down.
So,
Best Buy was completely down. Everything.
Everybody has come out of the woodwork to basically say, listen, we knew the date, we knew the time, we knew everything. All the retailers, including the one I work for, all had challenges with getting their SKUs published for the 11 o'clock. Now, the challenge there is that depending on the retailer, depending on your infrastructure, depending on how many hoops you have to jump through in order to get those SKUs published, it could take anywhere up to 5-10 minutes, in which case now you're not looking at 11 o'clock, now you're looking at 10 after. And so after I did dive into our logs to see where I ordered, apparently mine came in, I ordered mine within the first minute of all the SKUs being available.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that wasn't right on 11 o'clock. Now, interestingly enough, I commented to my coworkers, and they had said that they didn't even get assets published for the site, meaning, hey, everything pre-order now, before it was even sold out. I mean, you're talking 10 minutes. Now, comparatively speaking, if you look at the volume of PS5 orders versus the ones that we did for Xbox, we had a considerable less amount of inventory than we did for the PS5s.
Oh, really?
Because it took a lot longer for the PS5s to sell out than they did for the Xbox, and even orders per minute capping at around 1,100 for a single minute today. You know, like the median value was anywhere between 200 and 400. And if you look at the S was at least half, not less than that. Yeah.
So was the number was like, I don't know if you know this or not, but like, was the number of units that the Xbox had, was that just lower because of the perceived, like, we're not going to sell as many anyways, or was it because of just inventory issues? Like, was it
market share?
Is it market share? Yeah, okay. So which makes sense. Which makes sense. You're gonna sell at least twice as many PS5s as Series X purely based on the current gen stuff, right? But my only thing was, like, I know Sony was saying, like, oh, we're gonna have all sorts of manufacturing issues, blah blah blah. Like, we're cutting back our predictions, all this shit. I'm like, okay, well, I thought that might have played into it, but it sounds like you still got as many as you had thought you would.
I can't answer that fully because I don't really know from our merchandising standpoint how many we had.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, I don't even know. Like, so I'm going to go take a look right now at PS5. And if you bear with me, I'll actually, while you guys continue, I'll take a look at the log files for the launch date of PS5.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Jamie, pull that shit up.
How many people got 3080s today?
All right, Richard, that's enough of that.
Was that today? Was that yesterday? I've lost track now. Time has no more meaning anymore.
You just mean
that was nuts. So NVIDIA also did the same thing. They also made a culpa. They said, "Hey, we fucked this up. Like we didn't. They're even on their own site. They weren't able to fulfill or meet the demand.
There was no bot protection at all. I think they even said they sold out. They sold out of their entire inventory in like 1.5 seconds or something. Like, it's unbelievable how fast of the 3080s.
Wow.
Like 1.5 seconds, it was all gone. It was like you would refresh the page, and when it loaded, it was out of stock. I'm like, what the fuck? And we're talking like thousands and thousands and thousands of units of it. We're all snapped up by bots because there was no CAPTCHA, there was no logins necessary, there was nothing.
That's brutal.
It's like,
so I mean, they said essentially, hey, we're making more. Hey, we're gonna add some protection there against bots. We're gonna add that CAPTCHA to the purchase page. But again, like, this isn't the first rodeo, right? This isn't even the first rodeo for NVIDIA this generation, right? Didn't they already try and sell the 3090s? I feel like they already went on sale with 3090s.
But this isn't the first rodeo for any of these major retailers. It's like
absolutely
exactly. It's unprecedented that you have this many people willing to purchase. Like 2020 just can't get any better. Like.
Anyway, so all that to say, I'm still not sure if I want a PS5, but I think maybe I've got a pre-order. I guess Nick will tell us shortly here whether or not there's quantity coming my way. But
the nice thing is.
Oh yeah, so I can tell you that we are going to have additional SKUs for PlayStation. I don't know when. Okay. Very likely, it's going to be after the drop date or the street date for PS5. But they have confirmed, the merchandiser that I know has basically said that Sony wanted to see what kind of velocities we're going to sell at before they started producing more quantity. And I mean, like, we already heard a rumor about their die count for producing their system on a chip type of thing.
50% or something insane. I'm like, what?
But they denied that, right? So,
I know, but you don't know who the hell to trust. People might try to make up shit as they go, but.
Fake news.
Fake news. Hashtag fake news.
I mean, the biggest problem with that is you can't. It's not like an AMD chip or an Intel chip. You can't just dial it back and be like, now it's a slightly slower clock speed. It's like, no, this whole thing is on this one chip, and now the chip is warped right off into the garbage with you. Yeah. You can't even salvage it, from what I understand. So at a 50% rate, that's That's nuts.
I don't know anything about this industry, but like that specific industry, but that does sound like, to me at least, it sounds insane. It's like, holy shit, that can't be cost effective. You know, it's an expensive piece of machinery. So I don't know.
What was the pre-order date for the PlayStation? Was it the 15th?
12th. Oh, sorry. You mean the
date that
the date
happened.
that the pre-orders were? Yeah, it was last Wednesday.
I think it was last Wednesday.
I want to say last Wednesday, the 16th.
Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
I don't know.
No,
Let me check.
no,
Let me check my order.
I think it was Wednesday.
I think it was Wednesday too, like right after because the PlayStation Showcase thing went on, and then like shortly after the internet blew up, it was like, oh, by the way, you can pre-order it now. I'm like, wait, whoa, what the hell? Like Xbox,
Okay,
Xbox at least had like, by the way, it's gonna be at 11 p.m. on the 22nd. Like you knew about that a week in advance. I'm like, okay,
Right.
so like I know a lot of people that still had issues pre-ordering the Series X, but like at least it was, you knew when to be hitting F5 on your computer. Like,
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that too, because when I was looking at the log files for our order confirm, like I saw trickles of 1 or 2 per minute afterwards, and I don't know if that was just a delay in our order management system coming in with inventory that was kind of tucked away, or if they had some sort of
people
queue.
timing out, maybe.
Actually, it's funny because there was another retailer in the States that actually had to put people into a queue that they're
wow.
being bombarded so badly. Yeah, I mean
that actually makes more sense though than like, oh, 404 site's fucked, and like, no, what the, like, put me into a queue at least, and like let me see it count down and let me get to the site.
Ticketmaster, when you want to buy tickets, same deal. You're in a queue waiting.
As much as I hate Ticketmaster, it does make sense. Yeah. Anyways, so I'm happy. Dan, I've got a digital. Sorry, go on, Richard.
So Dan, as the proud owner of 2 pre-orders, 1 for each system, how do you feel?
I'm very happy. I was,
Did you get the digital one?
I got the PS5 digital, yeah, because like it's $500, and when I looked online, I'm like, the PS4 Pro still sells for $500. That's weird. Like, I'm talking Canadian, obviously, but I'm like, that I'll at least be able to get $300 for that thing. Like, even now, I'm like, why would I keep my PS4 Pro if I could get a PS5 for,
good point.
Not even $200 probably? I'm like, holy shit.
I did not think of that. That's an excellent point.
And like I've got an extra PS3 in the house, which is literally a Netflix machine.
That's also what I have mine for.
Yeah.
Let me ask you though, how can you so fast forward 60 some odd days?
Yep.
And tell us what 60 days from now Dan thinks when his bank account is drawn down by like $1,200.
It'll be more than 1,200. Well, the nice thing is it will go up by X number of dollars when I sell the other things, right?
No, you're not wrong. That's how math works. You add and subtract. But
I don't know what to do with my Xbox One X. But anyways, that'll be for another day. I know the 3070. That's kind of like the big cog in the wheel here. It's like, if I actually manage to get a 3070, I think everything's kind of hinging on that, because if I end up getting a 3070 and I'm like, oh my god, everything's running incredibly well on my computer, what do I do now? I'm like, shit, do I keep the Xbox? Do I keep the PS5? What do I do? At that point, I won't know what to do. Because right now, I'm expecting to not be able to get a 3070 at all for months. So, like the 3070, for the 2 people on Earth that don't know about it, it's going to be, I'm assuming it's going to be like 600 Canadian, because it's 500 American, I believe, for the 3070. That's what they're expecting. Yep. So I would assume between 600 and 650 Canadian. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So like, which is the price of a PS5 or Series X, but it's just the video card. But at the same time, it's like it's more powerful than either machine, right? So it's like, what do I do? I have no idea. So
Yeah,
Well,
see, I got the Xbox pre-order as a backup because like you said,
Well, that's
if I don't
exactly.
get the 370, yeah, because I think I'd rather go 370 than get the Xbox, and then because we can still do the game sharing, and then
Yeah.
with PS5, like
all
you
the
said
first party
before,
stuff, all the first party
Yeah.
stuff would be on PC,
Yeah,
which would be Bethesda, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, having a digital PS5 and a 3070 in my PC would basically cover pretty much everything I could possibly want.
right.
But if there's no way in hell that I'm going to get a 3070, a Series X would be totally fine as well. So, I don't
Yes,
know.
because I need to play Cyberpunk. That's really basically what it's all about.
Yeah, I need my Cyberpunk machine, and
In
regardless, it's not going
Yeah.
to be a PS5. It's either going to be my PC or a Series X. So
That's right.
I need one
So-
of those two things.
Yeah, in 4K.
Yes,
so
exactly. So
I'm not gonna play it in like some downscale bullshit
So essentially,
like early 2020.
what you're saying, Dan, is that you're gonna have both a PS5 and a Xbox Series X.
either that or a 30. Well, yeah, okay, I see the joke. It's very-
Uh,
You see what I did there? Okay.
Yeah, I
Because
see what you did
because
there.
You're not
That's
gonna
good.
get the 3070
Yeah.
at all. No one is.
Spe-
I will eat. I will eat.
You don't think in 2 months?
Don't do a Werner Herzog and say you'll eat a shoe because
I will eat this cleaning rag if for anyone who's audio only. If anyone
in
on
2
this
months,
podcast,
you don't think it'll be on
wait.
this
Okay,
shelf
so
like
wait.
mine?
Okay, give me. Okay, Richard, I'm
Yeah,
gonna take
day
this
one.
seriously.
day one.
Day one. Okay, what does that mean though? Like,
Day one, the day that it comes out, whatever day the pre-orders are, they have a date.
When's
okay, so
When is
day
that
one.
for the 370?
So let's
October
confirm.
15th.
Let's confirm
It's
this because
October
I want to
15th is when
see
it's
Richard eat
available.
that cloth. I want to see Richard eat that cloth. What is it? October.
15th.
So I want to tell
That's
you guys-
pre-orders?
Nick's got
Well, that's
something to say.
when-
Nick's foaming at the mouth. He's got something to say.
If
So-
you look, if you look
John,
at
wait a
these
sec. Wait
Give me
a
1
second.
second.
Wait a
Holy
second.
shit.
Nick is losing his mouth. He's losing his mind. He's
Give
got to
me-
say something.
Give me a second. The GeForce RTX 3070s are available
Sorry,
for
Nick.
pre-order on October 15th for $499 American.
Yes.
How much?
500 American.
500 American. Yeah.
On October 15th. That's the release date?
That's the pre. Well,
They are available.
See now.
yeah, they're available.
See now. This is where we have to be specific. We need details, Richard. I want to see you eat
Oh, I
that
see what
goddamn
you're saying.
cloth.
I see what you're saying. I'm not gonna get the cloth.
So Nick was desperate.
Like that was a very empty promise. I'm not eating anything. See, Warner.
I'm 37 years old. I don't eat things for bets anymore.
Let Nick go. You gotta let Nick go.
I don't know.
Go. Nick,
Okay,
go,
Nick.
go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. There were 929 individual orders on launch date for the PS5 pre-order that had both the digital and the fat version. They ordered both. 929 individual
They ordered
orders.
both.
Yeah, guess what they're doing. Take a wild guess at how many of those are on Kijiji
Okay, well,
already.
hang on. Let's give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Okay, like if
Why?
you're
That's a bit much.
because you don't necessarily. I mean, I knew from the bat that I was going to get the
Sure,
fat
sure.
one because I have a lot of discs. Right.
Okay.
I've got a ton of discs, and I'm being very clear to enunciate discs every time I say it.
It's not necessary. Our audience is extremely mature. You don't
Go
need
on,
to.
Dick.
You don't need to talk about dicks, Richard. Go on,
Sure.
please.
So I knew, but you know what? You might not, right? You might still be on the fence as to whether or not you want. I'm not saying all 920, whatever. Like for sure, a large number of those people are going to try to sell one or both of those systems based on
Sure.
whichever one's fetching a bigger price tag.
Yep.
But you know, they've created a little bit of consideration within the set, right? It's the same thing now, same thing but different with the Series X versus the Series S. You guys all went for the Series X. Nick, you were saying the Series S took, minutes longer. I don't know how much what the timeline is on it. But
Finally out of stock, but the reality is it took a long time. Actually,
Right.
I don't even know if it's out of stock. Maybe it's not.
And that's because essentially what Microsoft is offering is a different system, right? Different value,
They're offering
different system.
It's
different,
two levels.
you know, features.
It's literally 2 levels of upgrade. It's like
Yeah.
you have an Xbox. Say you have an Xbox One right now, or a regular PS4. It's like a Series S is still a huge step up. For not that much money, whereas a Series X is a massive fucking step up for quite a bit of money.
Or you can go a slightly less for the PS5.
I know, it's weird. This is like the weirdest generation I think I've ever seen, where it's like there's so many different SKUs, so many different prices. I'm like, the PS5 kind of makes sense, but it's like the disc one is $630 Canadian. It's not even.
Why is that
it's
$130 more?
It's $130 more for a disc drive. I'm like, what?
That's actually $50 cheaper than if you did the straight exchange rate on whatever the day was that they announced it.
Yeah, which is it's kind of weird. Whereas like the Series X and S is $220 Canadian difference. Like that's a clear difference in machines. So I don't know. It's gonna be all over the place. Like the Series S is not gonna be for us because we actually give a shit, but it's gonna be for like mom and dad who are like, oh, little Billy wants a new system for Christmas. Oh, here we go. What's the newest system? Oh, the Series S is cheaper than a Switch, which is still $400 Canadian. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, I'll get the brand new Xbox this Christmas. I don't know. It's gonna be all over the place, man. I really have no idea what's gonna happen.
So, by the looks of these numbers, we had just shy of 22,000 PS5 full consoles, and we had just over 5,500 of the digital versions. Comparatively,
wow. So 15,000 of them were disc.
No.
Oh shit!
21, almost 22,000.
Holy
was
shit!
discs.
Wow.
Was the full console, and then
And 5,500.
And about 50. Let's round out 5,600 for the digital.
Oh my god!
Wow, that much disparity. I wouldn't have thought, honestly.
But think of the stock level difference. That disparity really confuses me a lot. So like that alone.
Oh, that's all that you got. That's all that Walmart got.
That's the retailer that we may or may not now know.
Sorry.
we were being so careful. We were being so good.
Sorry. Yeah. That's
I don't even think it matters, but well, it might. It might actually might. I don't know. I'll bleep that out.
Just cost Nick's job.
Don't worry, we can edit this part out, can't we? We're not streaming it live, right?
We're not streaming, right?
Yes, we are.
We were definitely streaming that. I saw that we were.
Is there a delay? One of those like radio delays by 30 seconds?
It's just a big beep. It's like, what the fuck? What did Nick say?
But I mean, that's a really strange disparity, knowing that Microsoft would probably have some optics on what kind of stock levels that the PS5 was going to be pushing based on retailers and based on market strength. And they really undercut. Like, I'm really surprised. But I haven't looked at the OPM for the Xbox launch yet, but I mean, like, we hit. What's like OPM? Orders per.
Oh, right.
Right, but
he's so seductive, Richard. Orders per minute.
I wanted to, but I don't have a pop screen on my mic like you do, so I would have just gone sideways.
See, I can lick my microphone because it won't penetrate. So moving on. I'm sure everyone saw that Microsoft bought fucking Bethesda, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
Who's Bethesda?
They make this little game called Fallout 76. You might have heard of it.
It's their biggest seller ever. It's Santino and I. It's our favorite game.
We played twice.
Yeah. But so the crazy. Okay, so I can't. Who the hell was I talking to about this earlier? But it was like, it was wild that I didn't even realize this, but they announced it the day before the Series S and X went on sale.
Yes.
I was like, Holy shit! I just realized that I didn't even click. I was like, that's a huge goddamn announcement to release the day before your next system goes on sale. It's like, oh, by the way, you like all these goddamn games? Of course you do. Buy the system. Here you go. So I don't know. It's a pretty huge fucking deal. I think. Like, I was reading some articles saying it's not even about exclusivity. Like, it's not even about Microsoft having the next Fallout or the next Elder Scrolls or whatever just to themselves. It's that they literally just want to build their Game Pass library. That's all they want to do. They just want subscriptions. They just want people paying every month continually for the rest of their lives. $15 a month, $20 a month, whatever the hell it costs. Just keep giving us money forever. That's all they want.
And damn it, I want to give it to them.
And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of worth it. Okay, here's the money.
We should talk.
For them to come up with a partnership with like a PC builder to basically say, hey, you want a really crazy system, forget about the console, here's something you can progressively upgrade. It's going to cost you a little bit, but like you want to play like the Xbox selection of PC supported games with like Game Pass and Game Now or even their cloud-based streaming. Here's a console. Like, forget about like attaching into the TV. Like, this is the premium thing, right?
Yeah.
They could build a relationship with Nvidia, and people would be.
Oh my god, dude! Can you imagine if Microsoft and Nvidia or AMD or whoever like build a partnership where it's like we want to own the PC market kind of thing. It's like I could see that being the next step for Microsoft is not taking over Steam, but competing with Steam.
So just a quick aside. So how I got into Game Pass on PC, because I don't have an Xbox, is a long and storied history, and I won't bore you with the details, but suffice it to say, the only way I could get this fucking Game Pass was by buying my 2070 Super, and I got 3 months of Game Pass for free. So they're in that camp, right? They're willing to give you it away. Not only have I kept my subscription after the first 3 months, so I bought my system in February. I've been a subscriber since whatever 3 months plus February is, and then they did a price increase announcement a week or two ago, right? They're now doubling their price. And I'll be frank, I don't even know what I was paying before. It was like $6.
It's double?
$7. Yeah,
it was like $6 or $7 Canadian. And keep in mind, Santino, this is just for PC. Like what was it called again? Like Xbox Game Pass for PC. It was a kind of convoluted name, but like whatever.
Okay.
It's very descriptive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the PC stuff, so it's just the PC games. And still, at whatever it's going to be, $12 or $13 Canadian, I'm not caring. Right, like I just, it doesn't bother me that's
right.
The cost. So you're absolutely right, Dan. Like what they want, they're the only ones who came to the market with the pay-as-you-go style, like or pay in installment style setup, where you get Ultimate as part of the package deal, right? So you get your Xbox Series S or S, you get your Ultimate, and then you just pay monthly for 2 years, and Bob's your uncle, you own the thing. The assumption there is that you're gonna, if you and 3 of your friends all do this, well, the lifespan of a console is 5 years, 8 years, like whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah,
you're all gonna stick around the system for an additional 3 to 5 years. And you got, $20 to $40 a month, whatever it was you were paying before, we were just gonna pay for Game Pass. Now it's just a recurring thing that you pay as part of your own expenses.
You just build it into your fixed expenses. And that's it.
Well, when you look at something like Netflix, right? It's Netflix has paid, I believe they've paid up to like $200 million for a movie before, like to produce a movie.
That's crazy.
And last time I checked, video games are making more money, like making more revenue than movies, and it's been like that for years. So for Microsoft to spend $7.5 billion
it's nothing.
On a publisher, not even a developer. It's a publisher that owns developers. I'm like, holy shit, it's huge.
It's ZeniMax, right? So there are a bunch of developers in there with the publishing.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So But like to own all of those guys and to own all their previous properties, so I swear to God, even if none of those companies ever made a new game again, Microsoft would likely make their money back just from re-releasing their old games. Like they have
And
such
make
an
it available on
insane
Game Pass,
catalog
yeah.
of games. Yeah. Like when's like, Doom Eternal, Skyrim, they're all gonna show up on Game Pass one of these, like very soon probably. Just
I didn't
imagine
even think of Doom Eternal. That's perfect. I'd never bought Doom Eternal. Now I
there
don't
you
have
go.
to.
There you go. It's gonna show up on Game Pass. It's gonna keep you coming back for more. It's like they know exactly what they're doing, and they're in it for software, not hardware anymore. I think like
I actually want to give money to a corporation. This
I'm
is
like,
insane.
Microsoft, I kind of like you. Why does my heart hurt?
It's actually brilliant. Like,
Microsoft, you used to be the devil. Now I don't mind you at all.
I forgive you for Internet Explorer.
Yeah, yeah. Wait,
Wait, hold on a second.
I'm actively using Edge as a browser now, which is
Yeah, that is
the
true.
weirdest thing ever.
Hey, listen, I'm okay with that. You know what? I've been looking
It's
at
built with
the-
Chrome. It's built with goddamn Chromium or whatever, right? It's like, of course I'm gonna use it.
You know what? Honestly, the biggest deciding factor, it doesn't eat my RAM.
Yes, it doesn't eat my RAM.
That's why I switched. Like
It's super
9-10
slick. It's fast. It's fine. Everything about it's good.
extensions all work. That's
Yeah.
the best
They
part.
took everything that everybody liked about Chrome and tossed away everything that everybody hated about Chrome, and then realized that they're Microsoft, and hey, listen, I'm okay with that. And as a developer, I'm okay with porting over and using their inspector tools are not as great as Chrome's are.
Oh, for a developer, I'd still would not use Edge in like personally, but like for
I
personal
find
use,
them-
I love it.
For the basic stuff, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
find.
For
yeah.
just everyday browsing, no problem.
yeah. It's
And,
perfect.
Like,
No, but I'm saying even for developing and like the inspector tool. And
It's good
stuff,
for
like, I don't
it's good
find
for
any issues.
developers. Oh, okay.
that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So interesting fact: the highest orders per minute for the PS5
Yeah,
capped out at 250
per minute.
now per minute. Now consider that we had over
5 per
how
second.
many thousands of units, right?
Yeah.
But Microsoft capped out at like 1,000 in a minute.
What?
Wow.
Wow. Maybe for maybe for Microsoft it was different because it was like there was one obvious system that people wanted, whereas with PS5 it was like, oh shit, do I want the digital or the disc one? I actually don't know. Microsoft is like, yeah, fuck the S, I want the X. Of course I do. It's like,
Well, 1,000 people said both.
Yeah. I'm not deciding. You know what? I should check it to see how many people did that with the Xbox, but I'm willing to bet not as many.
Yeah, that's true. So I was gonna talk about what games we've been playing lately, but I don't want to because Cyberpunk's coming out soon. It's like 2 months. It's coming out in like 2 months. I don't even want to talk about what games we're playing right now.
It makes me mad to think about that. Why'd you have to say that? Like they just released the Nightwire.
I haven't even
I
watched it.
watched
It's queued up. I don't even know if I want to ruin anything else for myself. I don't like. I want to watch it, but I'm like, what's that,
It doesn't
Richard?
ruin.
Oh,
It doesn't ruin. No.
I know. Okay, I'll watch it. Fine.
It's really well done. It's really well
God damn it. Fine, I'll watch it.
You produce them.
You gotta watch them.
Yeah.
They've been adding so much. It's just building up to the whole experience. So
done. It's really good.
Fine, I'll watch it.
Honestly, they're super well produced. They're not spoiling anything for me. I'm with you. I'm usually in the dark on this sort of stuff, but I've been watching all the videos and they've been great.
For games that I'm like already sold on and like I know are gonna be super story heavy and stuff, like the GTA games, I'm like, give it to me, feed me. I want to see everything.
Mhm.
But like for something like Cyberpunk, where it's like I really, really don't want to know anything about the story, and I've seen some walkthroughs where it's like super detailed, like beat by beat story stuff. I'm like, I actually don't know if I want to see this. This is like really
But I think this
in
is
depth. I
this
don't
is
know.
additional story building stuff, though. That's what I think. I don't think it's like spoilery stuff. I think it's just getting you more into the environment and the
Yeah.
atmosphere of it and all
Yeah.
that.
Fuck, I
And,
can't. I
like,
just can't.
I
I just
could be
can't
wrong.
wait.
I haven't
can't wait.
seen them, but I would
Coming-
assume that that's what the marketing behind it would be.
No, that's exactly it. Yeah. It's all these other stories that kind of intermingle, exposing you
Right.
to more of what that life is like in that game.
Yeah. So then this way, when you're playing, you're like, oh, I remember that character from the video.
Yeah.
I mean, in the most recent video, it's less about the characters, right? This is all about the world building. This particular video is about the game, so it's more about archetypes than it is about characters specifically. So
Yeah, it's
you're
usually about
looking to
one
not-
aspect, right? It's like one aspect of the game, like the character building, or like the weapons, or the vehicles, or the whatever, the world, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, like episode 2 had a whole feature on the weapons, right? The different types of weapons and all that sort of stuff. This one's all about the 5 different or whatever, however many different gangs and the differences between gangs. So to Santino's point, it's just gonna. So I'm not. It's not that I'm going in blind, but almost to me, it kind of enhances my experience because I know V knows about these people, right? I don't know about these fucking people, but V knows about these people.
That's
when
true,
I take over,
that's true.
I should know a little bit about the world or the environment as well.
Yeah.
Well, consider that what they've done with The Witcher in terms of a Netflix show as well. Can you imagine if this has
Cyberpunk
the same
show?
kind of
Can you
commercial?
imagine?
Can you imagine the commercial success that they could have and the potential? I mean, you essentially are giving everybody who's ever found
Santino's
Blade
losing
Runner
it.
attractive. Oh yeah, I mean, like, why not? Everybody wants a follow-up to that Blade Runner kind of intricate universe, and this would be that bridge, right? Dystopian future, you got commercialization of everything, right? It would be groundbreaking, but I mean, like, I think the depth of it is well beyond a single character, whereas with The Witcher, I think the narration
it's all
for
Geralt.
the
It's all
movie and the
Geralt.
games, right, and I think with Cyberpunk, because you are your own character, I mean, how would you bridge those two storylines? How would you? I mean, you would have world building that this would take place in, but it's almost like what's that other Netflix show, Carbon?
Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon.
Thank
Altered
you.
Carbon is so good.
It would have that
It was
kind
cool, it
of
was cool.
feel to it, right?
Yeah.
It does. Like, from everything that I've seen in all the Nightcrawler series so far, it's like the similarities between that and Altered Carbon are just.
Well, and they probably gained a lot of inspiration from these kind of shows. Like, what are people really interested in, and what kind of atmosphere do you create that's going to be engaging for people too?
I eat that Cyberpunk shit up, man. I love it.
Oh,
So
I think everybody does.
This is all why I don't necessarily care if I have a PS5 or not, because pretty much come November 19th, 1 week later, the fucking only thing I plan to be playing for a very long time is Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Well, your rig is is more than well equipped, Richard, right? Like to play.
It is.
So it's like, yeah.
But like with last generation graphics card.
No, you're
my
right.
God.
You're right.
Richard's, Santino, you're just like, Richard, just tell Santino to fuck off. Don't worry about it. I won't be offended. Hell, he won't be even offended. He'll be like, nah, you're right.
I like
I wouldn't think there. You're right.
And
I wouldn't
Santino
think
has $689 that PlayStation 5 might be it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, damn
got
it.
me.
Yeah.
I need that $50 to buy Cyberpunk, so, you know.
Oh, it's priceless. And on that note, fellas, would you like to play video game 20 questions? Diddly-ding, diddly-ding. I'm just trying to make a theme song. It's terrible
That's
already.
terrible.
It's just let's just move on. So, fellas,
How do you not have like
Hey,
transitions
fellas!
and stuff like that? Like you should be doing like some editing.
I know.
like,
Next
real
time when I actually know what I'm doing, I'm not a producer. I'm a
Sparkles.
fucking. I do digital marketing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Fade in, fade out.
You're lucky there's a goddamn overlay on Twitch right now. That's as good as it gets. You're lucky. Actually, you know what? You're lucky that my audio is recording this time. Because I fucked that
all
up. I
very lucky
fucked
for
that
that,
up
Dan.
last time. Oh, shut
We're
up. Santino,
quality
you
right
son of a
now.
bitch. You
We
We're
should,
all
you
about
should
quality.
technically have two recordings, two devices recording, technically. Just saying.
Okay, so
Well,
next time you
isn't
can
this the
produce.
reason
You
why
can
you need
produce
a-
the show next time, Santino.
But this is why you need a 3090, so you can do like. I mean, there was this big deal about how they stream and things. And,
I think Santino just offered to come over and produce the show for free every Tuesday from now on.
Happened?
I think that's what he just said. So, let the questioning begin, gentlemen.
Media brought to you.
And another commercial every 30 seconds from SC Digital Media.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Let that free advertisement be stricken from the record.
SC Digital, just in the background the whole time.
Jesus Christ! Terrible, absolutely terrible.
For all your WeberNet needs.
Weber
I made it the biggest logo on my iRacing car, the biggest one.
All right, so
I'm like, yep, shameless plug.
Santino, are you interested in playing? Are you interested in playing with the guys who know things about video games other than iRacing?
Yeah, let's do it. Hold on, let me get my lighter. Then we'll...
Jesus
No, we don't have to wait. I'm just kidding.
Jesus Christ!
I just had to open up the sign out. What the hell?
Yeah, if you have the show,
we have to
The
open
show
up?
notes.
there's show
The
notes.
show notes.
There's
We have show notes?
There's show notes.
I don't have show notes.
Let me send it to
Don't
you
worry
right
about
now.
it.
Let me
We'll
send it
feed
to you right now. Cosentini at StageForLife.com.
I'm not on the MailChimp list.
All right, I just sent it to you. I just sent it to you, Santino. You're good.
Here, I'll just put them into the. There you go.
I like your edit out.
Yeah. And
note.
keeping in mind that this video game 20 questions is blatantly stolen from GameScoop, and I love Daemon Hatfield and IGN a lot. It's by far the best video game podcast. Daemon, this is me tickling your taint. Richard's like, yeah, tickle a taint. That's good. It might be a bit too far, but it's fine. I think he'd like
It's a
that.
little bit of alliteration. I'm always a fan.
Yeah, so I've totally stolen this, but it's so much fun to play and it's so much fun to listen to. That's it. That's all I got. So, yeah. Please, let the questioning begin, gentlemen.
It's been so long since we've done one of these. I forget what the ideal first question was.
Ask vague shit, get specific. That's literally it.
Was the year?
You start with the year and then do like.
Nick, you may be on mute. Oh, sorry. Hang on.
Yeah, you're a mute, Nick.
Yeah, mute or something.
So it's like just whittle down the year and then figure out like west.
Yeah,
versus east,
we did the
and do like a console or platform that's on.
right. Okay, so it was like before or after the year 2000. Was that the first one that we usually go to?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have to. Yeah, keep in mind they have to be yes or no answers.
Yeah.
So when you ask me, I have to say yes or no. It can't be like, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, who knows the answer though?
I'm
knows
the
the
only
answer.
one. I'm the only one that knows the answer.
He's the Quizmaster.
And
We should
anyone.
We should start to rotate Quizmaster there, Dan.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's kinda
I'm
like
totally fine doing
egotistical
that.
to always have Dan doing it.
I'm totally
Sorry.
fine. I'd love to play this with others.
Shotgun. I'm gonna be the Quizmaster next week.
Please,
Awesome.
please, by
Sounds
all
good.
means.
Okay. All right. So, Dan, did this video game come out before the year 2000?
No, it did not.
Sweet. I have a chance.
Yeah.
All right. Let's think then. So we always pick 2000. We've never had one that's come out after the year 2000. So I forget. We have to think about what systems are out here. So you got Sony in the market. You got Sega. You've got Nintendo. You've got PC. Should we ask if it was a console exclusive? Nick, you're still on mute, bud. I see you're turning green, but I can't hear you. Did someone mute you?
Hulk
No,
smash,
I definitely
Hulk
didn't.
smash.
I definitely didn't mute him.
I think
Your
mic
video's
just
flickering
straight
like
on.
crazy, Nick. Your video's flickering like nuts too. I don't know what's going on.
Just unplugged it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Check your internet.
Nick is always like he always rocks at this, so I'm glad he's gone.
Let's
As
ask
the person
15
asking the
before he
questions,
gets back.
I'm glad he's gone.
There he is. Better? I hear typing.
That's me.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. All right. So in 2000, we got what? We've got PS2.
No, wait, that question was going to be.
PS1 still, right? Well, after 2000 was PS1 and PS2.
Yeah.
No, wasn't our question going to be? Is it a console exclusive?
Yeah, I was trying to go a little bit broader.
We're just trying to think what was released after. There's like, we've got Wii,
No, I like that because then I've got a follow-up question if
the Wii
depending on
U,
his
the
answers.
Switch, Xbox 360, Xbox One.
Yeah, it's everything current gen. So I mean, the other
Game Boy
route that you can
Advance.
take is talking about gens, but I think probably the best way to approach this is asking if it was console exclusive.
Yeah.
That narrows down whether or not it was kind of multi-platform on PC at least.
Is that your question?
then-
Console exclusive?
Well, hang on, we're strategizing, Quizmaster. Jesus.
Yeah.
And then-
console-
40 minutes later.
Yeah. All
I
right,
like
fine.
that 'cause it eliminates a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to ask it? I'm gonna ask it.
Console
All right,
exclusive?
and- yeah, was it console exclusive?
No.
Shit.
That's a problem.
So do you want to
did-
go? Is it east or west? Was it like an east?
Oh, in terms of like developer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
publisher?
Yes.
Developer.
Yeah, I think east or west. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
we haven't even nailed down like the generation yet, right? Like,
No, we just know it's post 2000.
so we know it's not console exclusive, which means it's also on PC. We could ask the sequel question. Is it a sequel or is it not a sequel?
I will eliminate a lot.
And then that tells us whether or not it's part of a franchise, and then we can think of, okay, now we got to narrow down like the console or the
That's a good idea. Yeah.
the year.
Sounds good.
If he tells us it wasn't a franchise, then okay, now we can be a little bit more loosey goosey with like the year, I guess.
Beautiful.
There was a lot of consensus there. So,
So Dan, is there a sequel, or is this game a sequel,
Ah!
or is it how do we want to phrase this question, guys?
yeah, no, is this game?
Is it part of a franchise? I think
There
is
we
the
go.
best way to phrase
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Is it part of a franchise, Dan?
Yes.
Woo!
Fabulous. That really doesn't do anything to eliminate anything.
it. Not even a little bit.
All right, east or west?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that will like eliminate like bubble.
Yeah, well, exactly, right? I mean,
Didn't they
Okay.
come out with a new bubble?
Is it bubble bubble? No, don't answer.
is
No,
the
don't.
is
This
the
is
game
after
bubble bubble?
2000 though.
After 2000. Yeah, let's do east west, and then we can start to think. Okay, why don't we think? Yeah, let's ask east west, and then we can think about categories. So let's go maybe that route. Let's do east west, and then we can think about like RPGs, JRPGs.
Yeah, because you got to get into the genre conversation too, because I mean, a franchise can be literally anything.
Well, especially at this point, right? We know it's not console exclusive. We know it's
Well,
Is
and
it the
and
forest?
well, not only that, but 2000 kind of represents like the beginning stages of like console building generations, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, like you're at the
Well-
beginning of most consoles. What 2000 is what PS2.
yeah, it's the tail end of PS1. PS2 is 2001.
GameCube, PS2, PS3.
Yeah.
Hell, it could be Sonic for all we know, right? I mean, like, because you got Dreamcast still in there during that time period.
PS2 was 2000 March 4th, 2000.
Well, what if we just ask, is it a current gen game? Because then wouldn't that eliminate?
Well, that's a waste of a question at this time.
I think we go. I think we go east-west, just to isolate it down to like, because then you can really get into like, is it Konami? Is it like Bungie? Right.
Yep.
Ubisoft.
Yep.
All right, Dan.
Yes.
It is.
Choose one. Whether
What?
east or west. So you say
Eastern.
Yeah. Just pick one. Yeah. It is the developer, not publisher, developer from the West.
Yes.
All right. So we've got Sony. We've got Sega.
Oh,
we've got,
okay. Should we ask if it's a first party developed? First party or a third party?
Yeah, I like that.
No,
but it's
hang
probably
on.
gonna be
Actually,
third-party.
sorry. Well, okay. It is not console exclusive, so it's unlikely to be first party.
Right, that makes sense. Because first party would insinuate that it's going to be exclusive.
Right.
But at that time period, though, if you're thinking post 2000, arguably during that time period, how many games do you know that were produced by first parties also did other games? Probably not many, if any at all.
Why don't we ask one more qualifying question on the year? Pre or post 2010, let's say. Like, give ourselves a 10-year period versus a 20-year period.
Okay.
Right? Because to your point, like, multi-platform or first-party multi-platform was way less common in the first half of that time period versus now when it's just like, everything comes out on both.
I agree. I think that's smart.
All right. Dan, was the game released before the year of our Lord 2010?
Year of our Lord. Before 2010? Yes.
Okay.
All right. So that is difficult because think of how many different consoles there were floating around at that time period too, right?
Yeah.
It's not just consoles though; it's multi-platform and PC, right? So, or we could ask that. We could ask, did it release on multiple consoles? And then that's basically our first party question, right?
Yeah, but you can almost assume at this point that it's probably not a first party. But I mean, if we wanted to isolate it down, I guess we could. If we know that it's during that time period, shit. Do you want to really go genre? I mean, like, really, what's big during that time period? I mean, it's literally everything and anything.
Yeah. Yep. And we know it's a Western developed game. So why don't we ask? And we know it's a multi-platform.
Franchise.
Yeah,
And we know
franchise.
it's a franchise.
Why don't we ask?
Do you want to start eliminating genre?
I prefer to.
It's a good idea to, like, honestly, just to start vague and narrow it down. Because you'll eliminate a ton, and especially if you can reference the shared doc or whatever, you're more than welcome to, like, look through it and be like, oh fuck, it's obviously not that or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Part of a franchise is developer from the West.
Why don't we ask if it's a sequel? Right?
Multi-generation.
Because someone was going to ask if it was part of a franchise. I think, Nick, you asked if it was part of a franchise, but we never asked if it was the sequel or if it was the original, right? So we could ask, to that end, we could ask if it was the first in its series, the first in the franchise. And then if that's a yes or no, then we'll know kind of where we stand. Is it a sequel that happens sometime in that 10-year gap, or is it, is it the original in that 10-year gap?
I think if we ask which generation it's like, if it was cross generation or not, then that would
That's a good
narrow
one
it
too.
down. That would narrow it down to another 5 years time span.
But then let's get granular when we talk about cross generation, because at that time period, how many games jumped consoles though? So if the broader question then gets, but if the broader question comes back, sorry.
Final Fantasy is one of those games that jumped console.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's use it. If we want to eliminate it, then sure, let's do it.
But
Are we asking if it's the first in its series, which I think is a good idea. Start there.
Yeah, I think that's where we start.
I don't know. That seems too specific so far.
Well, don't forget what Dan just kind of said, though, right? Like, do you kind of want to play loose with some of the questions to kind of isolate it down? we're only on number 6, right? So we've asked 5 questions up at this point. So we got 15. So it's not like we are kind of in the tail end of the questioning.
Yeah. We got lots more.
So I think you're right. Let's see if this is the first game, because then you can almost say, okay, well, what multi-part games took place within that time period, right? Because now you've got a 10-year grouping where
and
major franchises.
Yeah, even then, if
No,
it
go
isn't, then we can ask something like, "Oh, did it happen? In before the year 2000?" Then you get a sense of like, okay, so the first one was a long time ago, the last one wasn't, or this current one wasn't. All right, Dan, was this the first game in the franchise?
Yes.
Nailed it. New
All right.
franchise.
So really, what took place
Fucking
during
Halo.
you have
It's definitely Halo.
Halo, Mass Effect,
Yeah, Mass Effect.
Witcher.
Tomb Raider. No,
BioShock.
BioShock.
No, you couldn't do Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider's been out for a long time.
90s.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, so now I feel more comfortable talking about genre. Genre.
Yeah, because like even all the Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Right. Modern Warfare took off during that time period as well. Battlefield.
360. Yeah. Yeah. Battlefield. Battlefield was
although
around before that.
Yeah, but that was on a PC, and so that would have been pre-consoles.
Yeah.
All right, so that's good. You can't have Battlefield in there.
So what do we feel like? Maybe first-person shooter? Should we ask if it was a first-person shooter?
Yeah, because that time period is really going to be the essence of when all of those franchises kind of started.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would do that.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dan, was this a first-person shooter?
No, not in the traditional sense. No.
Oh, in the traditional sense of I have a first-person view and they're shooting.
You would not. If you said, "Oh, that game's an FPS," I'd be like, "No, it's not."
Got it. So it's a first-person game.
Definitively, I would say no.
Shooting. Oh, it's looking like maybe BioShock. It's looking pretty good there.
Deus Ex. Deus Ex falls into that category, right? Because I mean, you can flip between those two, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Okay.
What
and
about?
It kind of goes in line with what we've been talking about with Cyberpunk.
Dan's mind's all about Cyberpunk right now.
Right?
It's not Cyberpunk. God, shut up.
Okay, so not a first-person shooter. That's fine.
Don't guess
I
Cyberpunk.
said look in the show notes.
Do we want to?
So there's clues in the show notes, right?
Do we want to ask? Yeah, well, he just means look at the question.
Well, it's not clues. It's just like what you guys have already asked. That's all.
Yeah. Do we want to ask if there are RPG elements? Like character building sheets and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that could mean anything now. Though.
Well, yeah, you're right, but that eliminates stuff like BioShock, where there's no character building there, right? There's nothing RPG related. It's just
Yeah, but you couldn't say BioShock because BioShock is definitely a first-person shooter in its traditional form.
Yeah, and it does have RPG elements. Doesn't it have like the powers and stuff, and you upgrade them?
Yeah, but I would never say, like, if somebody were to say, like, what is BioShock? I'm not going to say it's an action-adventure platformer. I'm not going to say it's a third-person shooter. I'm going to say it's a first-person shooter, right? I mean, because, again, it is going to have platformer elements. It's going to have RPG elements, but at its core, you're shooting weapons in a first-person mode, and you can't take yourself out of that.
Let's ask if it's an open-world game.
Oh, I like that.
Easy with the finger there, Richard. Everyone's getting severely turned on. Do you have a question?
Dan,
do you have a question for me?
Dan, was this a open world game?
No.
Motherfucker.
Because GTA came out on the PlayStation. Oh, GTA has been out for a long time, and it started out on PC. So it couldn't be GTA. And that would be a more third person. So,
well, it was top down. Very first generation, the first two.
But
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
thinking.
true, and it's not SPS. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. Sorry.
All right. So not an open world game, not a traditional first person shooter game.
So would you consider Mass Effect an open world game? Because it's sandbox, in the sense that you have a shared or a universe that you can move around in. So I guess that would be classified as open world.
I wouldn't call that open. Would you call Destiny open world?
No.
I think it's the same idea as Destiny, right? It's just it's levels,
Yeah.
but you're loading the level in, and like you gotta move from one section of the level to the other. Whereas continuous play is what I would associate with.
I was kind of
What was Dead
disappointed the way
Space?
they sold that.
Yeah.
What was the first
Oh,
Dead Space?
Dead Space.
Was Dead Space after 2010?
But he said, so hang on. So he said, I wouldn't consider it a traditional first person shooter. So what we didn't nail down was what's the viewpoint? Is it third person or first person? I think we can assume it's first person, which
Yes,
means
that
we can eliminate stuff like Assassin's Creed and Dead Space and whatever Assassin's Creed we can get out on the open world. But we don't have to think about anything that would be third person unless we want to spend a question narrowing down specifically what's the viewpoint.
So it is a
Right, because
first-person shooter then.
No, it's not. He
No,
said he
so I mean,
wouldn't
you've
consider it-
eliminated Halo.
Right. So why?
Right.
So why would you eliminate Dead Space from that then?
because it's
Dead
not.
Space is not.
Well, it's third person.
But I think
Right,
Dead
so-
Space, the original, was after 2010. So I don't think so. It's not in that span of games.
Really?
That 10. Because he said 2000 to 2010.
Should we ask if it was a first person game, or is that wasting a question at this point?
Yeah, I think it's wasting it because is it though? Like if your
Right?
primary view is first person, that really eliminates a lot. I mean, it could be a racing game for all we know.
And also his ambiguous, like, I wouldn't classify it as a first person shooter if you ask me. Like that just
Sounds
is
just like me.
it does. I practiced. There. No, I lost it.
Oh,
so
wait, what the
So Dead Space, actually, Dead Space is before 2010. But it's not really like a first-person shooter. It is survivor horror.
Well, that's what Dan's saying. It's not a traditional, in the traditional sense.
Okay,
So
let's ask it.
So
Let's
we've
ask
got-
it as a first
We've got
person game.
Bioshock. We've got Dead Space. I'm just trying to think if there's any other games.
You have 12 questions left as well.
Yes.
We got it's Mass Effect, but I think franchise as well, right? And so we have to. Sorry, going back to the notes here. Console exclusive, no. Okay, so we know it couldn't be anything like.
Let's ask if the sequel was released before 2010. Right? So we know it's part of
Which
the
means-
like a follow-up game.
Yeah, the
which
next
means
game,
that the
right?
first two games would be within 2000 and 2010.
So it can't be Dead Space. Dead Space is an Eastern developer.
Or we just start going for consoles. Like, hey, was it released on this console, that console? I still think genre is the best way to go, but I think we just need to narrow down whether or not it was when it was released, and then whether or not it was first person, and then we can go kind of from there.
So if we're going to start tackling, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I would ask which generation it was released on, or however we would phrase that.
Which generation? Well, so what do you
Yeah.
mean by that? Do you mean
I want
like-
to find out which generation of console.
The
is-
PlayStation 2 generation or the 360 generation.
So you have
Yeah.
to ask.
Yeah, how
is
would
it-
we ask that?
Is
Yeah.
it Gen 2 or is it Gen 3 or is it Gen 5?
I don't know if you can get that granular because by the time the Xbox came out, it was 360 era, right? So I mean, you're now missing the first two generations of the PlayStation at that point.
Mhm.
Okay. So that might be a really good question then. Should we ask? Let's just ask if it was released on PS2.
But that still would leave.
But then, well, if we
that
ask if it
still
was
would
released
leave
on
like
PS2,
Dreamcast. That would still leave Dreamcast.
Yeah.
That would still leave Nintendo.
But
Would still
let's
leave-
talk about that for a sec. But let's talk
How
about
do we
Dreamcast
ask
for a
it?
second.
How do we ask it in
Let's-
such a way?
Let's ask a
How do we
question.
ask?
I really want to ask a question.
It's only been 12 minutes.
Let's pick a question. Let's ask it, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Let's pick a question. What's a good question? Someone else.
Okay, so before you ask the console question, let's find the time period. Like, what's the overlap between PS2 and PS3 during the 10-year time period, right?
Like
because you're going to be
2005,
jumping.
Wasn't it? I think 2006 is when PS3 came out.
No, I was 7 or 8 because I got mine in 2009 and it was the Slim, right? So it would have been 6. Okay, maybe 6 or 7.
I think it was 6.
It was 2006.
Wow.
It was.
Okay, so when did the original Xbox come out then?
2001. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So
when did
so
the
I-
360 come out?
it would have been later than that. Yeah,
So,
28.
It would have been at least 2007. Because 5-year span.
So
So 5-year span.
So if we can say, was it released before or after 2005, or was it released before 2005? Then we know then we're pretty certain it's the PS3 generation, Xbox 360 generation game.
Sure,
So
that works.
By asking that question, we're eliminating, by asking that question, we're shortening the time span, so it's between 2005 2010,
Yeah.
or it'll be between 2000 and 2005.
Well, we'll see
That's
what
right.
the answer is. Yeah,
And that really shortens her down, right?
yeah,
I
that's
think
good.
a lot.
I like it. Go for it, Santino.
Daniel,
Santino. Statue
was
light.
this game was this game released before 2005?
No.
Okay.
Ooh.
5.
So
All right,
now
so-
at
so
least
we
we
have-
know. I'm pretty certain, like, there's no games that were released on the old consoles and not the new ones, right? So would that? Is there
Huh?
still some overlap? Is what I'm saying. I'm not sure.
What are you talking about there?
So remember that this is the first game in the franchise as well.
Right.
But it was multi-platform, right? Because not console exclusive. Eventually released. Well, that's true. So we could ask if it was concurrently released on PC or if it was or released on all consoles. Was it
Well,
released
that-
on multiple consoles at once?
BioShock is a pretty damn good answer.
Let's ask if it was released on multiple platforms at once. Because the answer there could be if it was no, then that means the PC followed later, right? Because that's
How many
still
questions do we
valid
have?
for that. We got we got 10, 11.
You've got
Yeah, we're on
19. You've
number
got
10 right
19 questions. You've asked one question.
What
But,
time is it?
but-
Whoa.
So was BioShock created by a
Western
pretty-
developer. Yeah, definitely.
No, I think it was Eastern.
No. It's Ken Levine. He's based out here in America. It was Boston.
That is great. So it means that BioShock as a franchise is eliminated because it has to be a Western developer.
We're considered the West.
Yeah, where do you think?
Wait, who said
Right.
what?
Never mind. I'm confusing myself here. Sorry.
It's all good. Don't worry about it. All right, so let's ask then. If,
America.
God damn it.
Fuck yeah.
Let's ask if it was released on multiple platforms at once. Right, because we said console exclusive, but what that could just mean is like, oh, and then it was eventually released later on 360, or it was eventually released later on PS3. Whereas if it was multi-platform, then that means it came out on everything at one time.
Do it, Dan.
Okay.
You got the question.
Dan, was
Is
it released on multiple platforms at the same time?
No.
No. So it was originally exclusive to something.
So
Fable?
we're looking at the tail.
Fable.
No. That was always exclusive to Xbox, wasn't it?
Oh no, that was no, my bad.
But
my
it came
bad.
out on PC, didn't it?
Fable?
Yeah.
Yep. Fable came out on PC.
So this is why. So now we know that it came out.
No, but hold on.
One
But
platform.
when?
It's not Fable.
But when? No.
It's not
It couldn't
Fable.
be Fable because
It's your. Okay,
no,
it's
maybe
not
it
Fable.
could be Fable because
I just said
remember, we
it's
never-
not.
remember we asked.
Yeah, but you could be tricking us. You could be.
No, like
tricking
it
us.
literally
We
is
never- we
not
never asked
Fable.
the-
It's not Fable.
We never asked the qualifying question of, hey, is it a first-person game? Is it a third-person game? So
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
no, we didn't. I'm still assuming that it's not a third-person game. I'm still assuming it's a first-person game because
Didn't
of the
we
way.
ask if it's a first person? He said no, not in the traditional sense.
Happy to
We
burn-
asked if it was an FPS though.
That's right. Happy to burn a question to clarify that because I think that's still leading us astray on some of the potential answers. But I think now that we know that it was released on just a single platform at one time, then now we can ask like, okay, was it a PS3? Was it released on PS3? Was it released on 360? Was it released on, etc.? Or we can even start higher. Was it released on Sony? Was it released on Microsoft? Was it released on PlayStation? Or Microsoft?
When did the first Wii come out?
That's a
That
fuck,
it
that's a
almost
good
definitely
question.
won't be.
20.
It almost definitely won't
2002,
be,
2003, something like that.
Yeah, it almost definitely won't be Nintendo. Like, in what world did it ever? Was it ever not a console exclusive? Have they ever released anything on PC? Other than like
No, but I'm trying to think of cross platform though. I mean, like,
no, but
I don't think
remember-
anything.
Remember, it's
But
not
to your
exclusive
point-
consoles.
No, but that's your point. Like, that's what I'm trying to mentally eliminate. Right? Is anything that's not going to be coming from the Nintendo side of things, because those games tend to be more exclusively focused.
Right.
So
let's ask Sony or Microsoft first.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of those two.
Yeah.
Hey Dan, was this game released first on a Sony platform?
No, it wasn't.
Fuck. Should we do the Microsoft one next?
Ooh, Xbox.
Yeah.
You said initially
But
released.
before you do that, but,
sorry, but you said it initially released on a Sony platform, right?
I did.
right.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
so no,
we're trying.
the answer is no. I just wanted to make sure that's what you said.
Right. So I mean, that infers that it eventually reached that platform.
Well, let's just find out
Potentially.
where it initially came from. Like, forget about the inferences. Like, where did it initially start? Where did it start? So it started on a Microsoft platform? We can just ask.
Yeah, but do you want to say Microsoft, because that could be PC though,
Microsoft.
or do you want to be?
We could say
specific?
Microsoft console.
Yeah, I would say console.
Okay.
All right, Dan.
Yes.
Was this game released on the Xbox first?
Yes.
There you go. All right.
And the beginning first of a franchise, and that would have been just the either the Xbox or the 360. So, what are the franchises built from the West that would have appeared first on those franchises?
Halo.
That's not.
Halo.
But Halo's a first-person shooter.
He's lying to us, Nick.
I don't lie.
You're right.
I'm like fucking. Pinocchio.
So his caveat there is that when you get into a warthog, you're in third-person mode.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Far Cry, Bioshock.
Far Cry. That's interesting.
I-
But it has
No,
to
but
appear.
he
But
said
it
it's
has to
not a
appear
fr-
on the Xbox first.
But so
We
Yeah,
can
it's
ask
on-
if it's now we can ask. Should we ask if it's a
on
party game?
PS3 and 360 Far Cry. I'm just trying to remember if it was before or after 2005.
We're all doing the same thing.
We're all looking.
Google research.
Ooh. I think we gotta ask the first person, third person question. We just gotta put a nail in it.
Okay.
What do you
So
think?
are we asking if it's a third person perspective?
Yeah.
Hey Dan,
Hey John, how's it going?
is pretty damn good. Is this game from a third person perspective?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Crackdown.
So what's?
Crackdown.
Oh, hold on. But that went to PC though, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
There's a lot.
I hate these multi-platform.
How many questions do we have?
And Fable 2. We have still like 6 or 7.
We're on 14.
Yeah.
Next question.
Now we can ask. Now we could ask genre questions, right? Like we could ask if it was an action game. Is it a?
Crackdown does fit in that space because it's like third person shoot 'em up. There is RPG aspects.
I mean, he did clarify about the Sony platform piece, so we could ask the first party, third party question. That would further clarify it.
Oh yeah, because Crackdown didn't go to. So
No, it didn't, and neither did Fable.
Far Cry did.
Fuck, I loved Fable.
Bioshock.
I just had to say that. That's all.
Fable's great.
It's not Fable, by the way.
Do you want to do first party, third party?
I'm okay with that one.
Yeah.
But what does that eliminate though? That eliminates it going to Sony and or not, right? Because then you still leave PC as being the question mark.
Mm-hmm.
No, ask it. We've got the question. I mean, this is only 14, so burn it.
Sorry, which question? First party.
We're on
third
number
party?
14.
Yeah,
Yeah.
First party, third party. Okay, Dan, was this a third party game?
Give me a second.
He doesn't know.
No,
This is
no,
great.
because no. The reason I'm asking,
You know
is because-
that's a hint in itself, right there. I
got
don't
it.
know.
Got him.
Get to the chopper.
It's really difficult because developer or
Because it hurts your brain.
publisher.
You're fired.
Dan, was this a third party game? Make him wiggle.
Were they originally a third party game?
I can't. I honestly, I actually can't answer that. I don't know.
Free question. All right,
It's a
sweet.
free question. I literally don't know. I can't tell.
So this.
I want
probably-
this. You know what? I'll give you a freebie, and I'll give you a double freebie. I think it was a first party game initially. There you go.
Fuck.
Take
Okay.
that as you will.
So it got picked up by someone.
Yeah, it's got to be Fable then, right? Because Lion's Head was eventually bought, or sorry, eventually went solo.
Borderlands is in that realm too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, Borderlands.
Sorry, Borderlands.
But
How?
that's definitely a first-person shooter. That's definitely.
Yeah. You couldn't mix that up with not though.
You're right.
And that eliminates Halo in itself too, right? Because I mean, even though Bungie got picked up by, I mean, it's a very obvious like this game wouldn't qualify for that then.
Fuck! If it's Viva Pinata, I'm gonna kiss Dan and then shoot him.
Oh
I-
God,
I
I didn't
hope-
even think of half of those games.
I
Oh
hope
my
it's Viva
goodness.
Pinata.
It makes me think of like Scribblenauts and all of those other fucking games that I hate.
Too Human. That was definitely a 360 first game. 100%.
Oh, you know what?
First game.
Silicon
I
Knights,
love that
buddy.
game. I was so disappointed that they didn't pick that up.
No one liked
That
Two
game,
Human.
that game was terrible. I hated that game.
Nick, no
I
one
bought
liked Two
that.
Human.
Really?
I pre-ordered that
Oh
game.
man,
Awful.
I crushed that game. I got to the end of it going, all right, when's the next one? Then I realized, oh no,
But
never
it is
gonna
supposed to be
come
part
out.
of- It is supposed to be part of a franchise, so that definitely would not qualify.
No.
Oh yeah,
but
the
it could
story
be-
building in that game.
Could be Viva Pinata. Rare would be a good candidate for that.
Was Viva Pinata by Rare? Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Do you four lovely gentlemen have a question for me?
Dan, does this game have pinatas?
That eliminates one game.
You know what? I can confirm that it does not.
Fuck.
That was by far the worst question of the night. Sorry.
Were there any
But the
sport?
funniest.
Were there any sport franchises that could have started out at that point?
No.
I think mostly all sport franchises would have been established at that point.
I'm just trying to think.
When? No, yeah, that was Dreamcast. When did
There's-
Dreamcast come out?
Star Wars Battlefront was in there too.
99.
Oh, but this is Xbox. Yeah, Dreamcast was 9. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but Battlefront, you can't say Battlefront because I don't think they are not a. That would be definitely a third party.
When did FIFA Street come out? So it could be a sports game. FIFA Street was definitely like one of those initial new sports games.
Do we
What?
want to burn like? Is it a sports game?
Sure.
That's-
Racing games, sports games. We got to figure out the genre. Like we haven't even nailed down the genre.
All right, Dan,
Hey, Nick.
is this a sports game?
Nope.
Thank God. I mean that does it could be a racing game. Like a lot of
That's
what
15.
about, like,
That's 15 questions,
Grid?
by the way.
Yeah, but think about Grid and all of
Yeah,
these other games that aren't traditional first party or because they came out to other platforms and they started out on the Xbox as well.
When was Burnout?
Just Cause.
Oh, but Burnout was a PlayStation game.
Just
Really?
Cause.
It was on.
Yeah.
Burnout was on Xbox.
Yeah, but
It started on the
Started
PlayStation.
on PlayStation. Yeah. I just remember playing Burnout Revenge on Xbox.
There's also Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. But it didn't release on multiple platforms at the same time, and I'm pretty sure that came out on PlayStation and Xbox at the same time.
Yeah, it was
Right, and that eliminates games like Mass Effect as well, right? Because
Yeah.
they would have released it across
Exactly.
multiple platforms.
Yeah, so this is something that started with Microsoft. Unsure as to whether or not it was first party, probably a first party game when it first launched. So what first party games launched between the year 2005 and 2010?
First.
I don't know. This is a tough one.
'Cause
Everyone's Googling but me. You can see my hands.
Hey, no googling.
no
You're
You're
Google.
not allowed to Google.
Googly.
You're
Yeah,
supposed
well, I
to.
mean,
It's a
you're
boy
on
and his
camera,
blob.
you can-
You're,
You had to Google if it was a third party or not.
you're all supposed
I
to
don't
be.
even know
You're all.
your
You're all
answer.
supposed to be massively nerdy and know the answer.
Yeah, but this is
Even with
this is a
Google, you
challenge.
can't figure
this
it
is
out.
good.
That's sad. That is very.
he's just
that is
mocking
very
us.
sad. You guys are pathetic.
You know what? While you're doing that, look at my hair. If you're gonna mock us more,
That is quite the haircut. Nick.
sorry, it's
Saints Row was released
Jesus
on,
Christ, Nick!
on Xbox 360.
Did your
Oh,
mom?
you should
Did your
check out
mom?
the
Did your
mod.
mom give you a mushroom cut?
And Saints Row did go to PC at some point in time.
Okay, so we wanna ask
what was
if
the
it
last
an
one,
action-
John?
Action game? Saints Row.
That's Saints Row. So there's, my brain's going like Saints Row, Assassin's Creed.
Well, let's ask if it's an
But
action
Saints-
game then. Action game.
But Saints, yeah, okay.
Dan, was it an action game? Nailed him. Got him again. Yeah, all right. It's a cross-genre game.
Action is one of the genres. Yes. Like yeah, action is one of the
Action RPG.
action is one of the genres. Sure.
That's not a yes or no
Cryptic
answer.
answers.
That's not a yes or no. God damn it.
Is that
Okay,
a freebie?
okay. You know what? No. Then how's that sound? It's not an action game.
God damn it.
Would you like that? How do you like them apples?
Oh, are there apples?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm trying to help you guys since you're so terrible at this game. And yes, I'm mocking you right now. I'm
Yeah,
trying to egg you on.
My game next week.
It's like fucking Keith Courage in the alpha zones for TurboGrafx 16.
It's gonna be
Like,
real-
what?
Real bad. It's gonna be real bad. Let me tell you.
When do the lemmings?
I don't even remember the name of this game half the time when I think about having played it. So let that tell you all you need to know.
It's Alpha Centauri for PC. It's like, what the fuck, Richard?
Okay. Let's do a quick rundown here. So it's between 2005 and 2010. It's a Microsoft console first game, but it does eventually release on multiple platforms. It's part of a franchise. It was developed in the West. It does not have pinatas. It's not a sports game.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately, it doesn't
Third
have
person
pinatas.
perspective.
I wish it had pinatas.
I know.
Every game.
Why won't
has
they-
Because, I mean,
pinatas.
the fact that it's not a sports game eliminates all of the like winter sports, like any of the snowboarding games and crap like that, right? Because I mean, like they had franchises as well.
Sure.
Cool
Borders.
Cool Borders was, and Amped was awesome.
Amps. It was Xbox. The Cool Borders was PlayStation.
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
Odd World. It's not Odd World. Jesus Christ. It's Odd
You all right there, John?
Yeah, I'm having half a seizure. No.
Cool.
Cool. Can we have your Xbox 3 Series X pre-order?
Not even the system, just the pre-order. Okay, you've got three questions left and a guess. Would you
Dan,
just
I hate to break it to you, but
Give
I don't
'em.
think we're gonna get this.
give them?
Is it an action game? You have yes, one of the genres.
That's right. That's what
So,
I have.
so I would assume that there's going to be puzzle aspects of this game as well. And so, and it's a franchise. So could BioShock theoretically be a part of that? Right? Because again, going back, it's not a traditional first-person shooter.
But it's a third.
Right? That's
person.
kind
The game has third-person perspective, so it's.
right. Shoot. Deus Ex.
But again, these were all released on multiple platforms at the same time, right? This one initially came out on a Microsoft console. We don't even know which console. We never even nailed down, like, did it come out on the Xbox or the 360? Because it does, that 2005-2010 does bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Right, and that. But how many games came from the first Xbox to the 360 though? Like how many franchises were gonna start at the tail end of the first Xbox versus waiting for the 360? Because at that point, the development time, you would have likely wanted to say, hey, listen, I'll develop this game for the next generation console.
Right. I take your point. It might not be that though, right? It might be that it just came out on that first Microsoft console and then it went to a PC, right? It didn't necessarily bridge between console generations. Probably it might have, but that's not necessarily what it means.
Give me a question. I'm dying.
Should we nail down the? I don't know. Fucking know. Should we?
Fuck, it could be a Lego game for all we know.
Yeah, you're right. It absolutely could be a Lego game.
Man, I don't know, man. I give up.
It's a
Can
tough
you
one.
give up?
Well, we've
Yeah,
got
hold on.
ourselves in the
We
corner.
just have a few more questions.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Why don't we ask? Fuck. It's not a first person or not a first party title. Eventually,
Fuck, it could. It's not Just Dance because that would have been. Would that be considered a sports game? I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't qualify, but I'm just going down this list of potential games that, like, franchises that started in a certain time period.
Richard. You just said it's not a first-party game.
Yes.
Why did you say that?
Well, I said it eventually, I should say, it eventually did not become or became not a first party game.
Okay.
So, console exclusive? No. Is it part of a franchise? Yes. Developed, no.
Hang on, he's trying to give us a crazy hint here. Take the clue.
Yeah, because it got bought by a distributor, so
Right.
it got bought by one of the first party
What
console
studios
developers.
what studios did Microsoft sell between the years 2005 and 2010?
Don't look too much into that.
God damn it.
You'll waste time.
Okay. Thanks for the hint. No thanks for the hint.
You know, the Witcher actually came out in 2007.
That was one of my guesses.
Sorry, 2007.
That initially came out on PC though. There's no way that was initially an Xbox game.
And that's always
Oh,
been
true.
Project Red,
Good.
right?
Yeah. True. Good. Yeah.
Damn it.
Uncharted is a PlayStation exclusive.
Let's just ask something and put ourselves out of our misery.
Ask away.
Who got bought out around that time period? Like, I'm thinking of like distributors like Neversoft and like all of these guys that kind of got evaporated and then absorbed into other companies.
It wasn't a buyout.
They just folded.
Nope,
No.
not that either.
God damn it.
Can I give you guys one last hint and then I'll be quiet?
Yeah, one last hint.
You've
Then we're gonna have
you've
to-
mentioned the game already.
It's fucking Viva Pinata.
So we've said
No, he said it's no pinatas.
We've
I
mentioned
think it's Fable then.
Fable was Xbox, the original Xbox. But was it late in the gen? When did it come out?
Because we've said Dead Space, we've said Fable, right? But I mean, it's very easy to isolate those.
Fable
Right?
was 2004.
Dead Space?
BioShock.
No, but who made BioShock?
No, BioShock came out on PC as well. I played it on PC first. I did.
Bioshock was
2K did.
EA, I think.
No, 2K.
Okay.
Irrational.
Yeah, and yeah, you can't mix that up. Yeah, so it's not that.
Okay, so first party games.
Not a sports game.
Come on, Giant Bomb. I mean, I definitely didn't Google this. Did anyone play Camino Elements of Power?
No, but you know, we wouldn't have. Nobody's mentioned that, right? He just gave it.
You're right. That's true. Crackdown.
You know what?
I
I like that.
Crackdown. When year did Crackdown come out?
I said Crackdown. Crackdown came out in 2007.
Who's
I like
the
Crack- I like
who's the
Crackdown.
publisher? But
Uh,
publisher Xbox Game Studios though. Who were they
Developer-
originally?
Real Time Worlds. I don't know where they're based. Where are they based?
Well,
Scotland.
that fit, but that fits the bill about his. Is it a first person? It's kind of or whatever, right?
Dan, do you collect orbs in this game?
Not that I know of. No.
Okay, so not.
It's not Crackdown.
Does that also eliminate Fable? Are there orbs
Oh
in
yeah, you're
Fable?
right. There's a shit ton of orbs in Fable. You're right. Too Human. I don't think there were any orbs in Too Human.
Fucking too
No,
human.
but it's not a franchise.
We said
Right, yeah.
Not a franchise.
Right.
Nick was one of the 10 people that bought Too Human.
I bought Too Human.
Yeah, and you were another one of the 10 people that bought it.
Terrible. How do we find each other? Like
It
this,
happens that I know 2 of the 10 people that bought that game.
The cinematics were fabulous.
Nick? They were incredible. That was the
I
only
was-
good thing about that entire game.
You
I
have
read
you have 2
Right.
guesses. You have 2 more questions and 1 guess.
fucking Dead Space. No, it is.
Mm.
No, it.
You think it's Dead Space? Okay, ask a Dead Space specific question.
Yeah. Oh.
Is it
Hey,
Dead
Dan.
Space?
Hey John, hey John.
You can't ask the title unless you're guessing the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the last question that you want to guess.
Yeah.
But
You need
does
to be
that-
100%
does Dead
sure, because if I say no, you're fucked.
Does
Oh, why-
Dead
what
Space
happens?
always take place?
That's
in
it. You're
space,
done.
though?
That's like you
Oh,
lose.
okay.
Sorry, John, you asked you actually asked like a legitimate question, didn't you, John?
No, I did not.
Oh, sorry, I thought you did.
Okay. Here's a question.
Oh,
Here's something. Hang on.
So I was
There's
going to answer Nick's question. Going, does Dead Space always happen in space?
Can.
I'm sure it does. So like, if we wanted to ask a question, we could ask if it takes.
Oh, if the game takes place in space. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, but it has to be like. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's ask that.
Dan,
Yes.
does the game take place in space?
You're gonna hate this answer.
Hate all your answers.
Sometimes.
Times.
Sometimes.
Oh, Call of Duty.
No, not.
Oh,
not
No,
Modern Warfare.
because that's
That was
Oh
a mistake.
no. There was like there was one game that went into space. Call of Duty.
Yeah, that was later though.
Call of Duty Infinity Wars, right? They went into space.
Yeah, but that wasn't it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh my God! Sometimes. What have we talked about that sometimes does Saints Row have a sometimes space section?
I don't know. I never played any of those franchises.
I played that game and I do not remember anything space related.
Mass Effect is BioWare and Electronic Arts, so that disqualifies Mass Effect. And that was 2007.
But that was an Xbox 360 game first. I do remember playing that first on the 360.
Yeah, but remember the earlier comment about where is it? I'm looking at the list here. Part of the franchise, yeah, is the Del Val franchise, blah 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 blah, open world game.
I
Multiple
don't know.
platforms,
Actually,
yeah.
Mass Effect might actually be it.
Action game, collect orbs. Does the game play? Yes, sometimes. So I thought we had asked one about the freebie, right? Which was Dan omitted that from his list.
He did.
About the original
I was
publisher.
trying to be
right?
nice.
So the original publisher is now Microsoft Game Studio, and it used to be Electronic Arts.
Mass Effect? Should we guess Mass Effect?
Well, I'm just making sure that my data there is accurate because there's Andromeda, right? So at what point, like I'm looking at their engines, right? Like EA Dice's engine. I'm just trying to make sure that none of these could have ever changed hands, but I don't think they ever did. I think it's always.
Let's ask about a Shepherd. Do you play as a Commander Shepherd? That way we're not guessing the game. I feel good about this one.
Is that your question?
Also, we've been at this for 47 minutes. I think it might be. Because holy fuck.
I have my doubts.
Yeah, didn't
but-
you have
all
something
right,
else to
so-
do tonight, Richard? You're like,
I absolutely.
I could probably hop on
working
for
tonight.
20 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
An hour and
I said
40
I was
minutes
skipping
later,
this,
like,
but then we started at 10 o'clock. I thought I was like, oh, we'll be done in 20 minutes. It's fine. One question a minute.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Before you ask that, so it's based on a third-person role-playing shooter video game series developed by BioWare, which EA acquired shortly after release of the first game.
Nailed it. That's it. Hey, Dan, do you play as a Commander Shepherd?
Do you play as a Commander Shepard? Yes, you do.
Hey, Dan.
Oh,
Hey, Dan, is this Viva Pinata?
Is that your final answer? Or is
No
is that
way,
your
dude.
final question?
This game, effective masses.
Yes, it is.
nice.
You know how painful
Wow.
that was to listen to?
That was horrible, I'm sure.
Very last question.
I
That's what we
think
got.
you said
On the
Mass
20th.
Effect. I think you said Mass Effect like within the first minute. And then you said it another 15 times through the entire thing. I was like,
Oh, we were circling around.
I'm pulling my
it's-
non-hair out. The follicles
I
are
have-
empty.
I have a real serious
Come
love-hate
on.
relationship with that game. I got to the third one and I loved it so much, and then I got to a point where I messed up the storyline, and I was just like, I don't want to start over again, and I don't want to continue, and I basically just got rid of the game.
Yeah, Mass Effect 2 on the other hand was incredible. I was hooked on it. Like Mass Effect 1, I get it. I know why people liked it, but anyways, yeah.
Better inventory.
The whole aspect of the giant whatever landing on the planet, and then you could be so cool. your whatever your face changes the more asshole-ish you got. So I mean, it was good.
So that's it. That's our episode. That's episode 16. It lasted a lot longer than I thought it would, but that was hilarious. Video game 20 questions always last way longer than they should.
Hooray.
I'm just gonna start yelling at everyone. I know you always do. You
up.
always do. Every goddamn week you do. You're like, it takes 20 questions to get there. I'm like, oh my god. Anyways, yeah.
Well, you gave us 20 questions. If it was video game 10 questions, we get there in 10.
Doesn't work that way.
Quit it with your logistics and semantics. Okay, see you next week.